The offensive side of a roster that I am thinking I trust is Texas. The Longhorns, again, another quarterback question mark. Is Quinn Ewers the guy? You have a lot of fans that are saying that, Art should be given more of a shot. Steve Sarkisian, has already named Quinn Ewers a starter after the spring game. So Quinn has that job security going into week one. But it gets hot out of the gate quick. They open with Rice. They go to Alabama on September the 9th. Then they have Wyoming. So a little Isaiah Nair revenge game, hopefully, if he's healthy. And then they jump into conference play with Baylor, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Now, say what you will about Baylor, and maybe you doubt Kansas's ability to repeat, but those aren't pushover games. You're at Baylor, you're at Alabama. Those could be two difficult road contests that could kind of separate the men for the boys in the quarterback room at Texas. Still, I kind of find myself leaning towards that over. DraftKings has their over under set at 9.5. The slight betting favorite is the over. I believe I'm reading that right.
Yep, I got that.
To go over 9.5 wins. I kind of inclined to agree with them. I think as I'm looking at their schedule, 10-2, if the offense can get rolling, that defense really improved last season. If that offense can get rolling, I could easily see a 10-win season.
I need to see it before I can get on board with that. And I think
that's fair.
Listen, we go through the same song and dance every single year. I wish I could conveniently pull up the FPI from the last, decade or so.
Yeah.
For Texas, because I feel like we go through this every single year. The last time they won, Mitch, do you want to take a crack at the last time they won 10 games in the regular season, not counting the bowl game and conference championship game?
2009,
That is
2008.
correct. Yeah, 2009, Colt McCoy leading them to the national championship game. So it's been a minute since we've had double-digit wins in Austin. I know we had the Sugar Bowl year with Sam Ehlinger, but again, talking only regular season here because that's what counts for the over-under. So I have to see it before I believe it. And I think that if they don't hit that 9.5 over-under, that the seat is starting to get very, very warm for Steve Sarkisian because all of a sudden, all the hype, all the, glitz and glamour, the quarterbacks he's brought in there. Yeah, you brought in the two of the highest rated quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
But you're just showing that you're another guy at Texas that's bringing in the talent but can't do anything with it. If you don't win with it this year and go out with a bang in the Big 12, because are you going to bet on them to hit their over the first year in the SEC? I don't know what I would. Obviously, we don't know what the
Probably
schedule's
not.
like, but that's going to be a huge step up in competition. We talk about at Baylor being a tough game. How about at Georgia or at Tennessee or at Florida? So, yeah, I need to see it before I believe it to see, to get on board with Texas being a 10-win program. The schedule seems manageable, though. I will say that. It starts out, other than the Alabama game, we talked about if they can beat Alabama on the road with all the advantages that they are going to have in that game. I know it's at Alabama, but they're going to have the quarterback advantage, most likely. I know we haven't been that high on Quinn, but I think he'll be better than whatever Alabama is throwing out there. They're going to have some skill position talent. You talk about receivers. Texas is probably going to have the better receivers in that game. So they will have some advantages. And if they can figure out a way to steal that one on the road, then maybe I'll start to believe that can be a 10-win team. But again, that just got to see it before I believe it.
Yeah, the Alabama secondary is going to be young as well. I mean, I know Caleb Downs is so far looking like a generational safety prospect, a 5-star, absolutely dominated in their spring game. I mean, there's a really good chance that Saban runs out an 18-year-old true freshman at one of the safety spots in Caleb Downs for that game against Texas. And I know they got, I believe his name is Jaden Key, transfer over from UAB, a guy who can play all over, corner, nickel, safety. He's going to be a really big addition, but he's going to have to get his feet wet over the summer and in fall camp, right? I mean, he transferred post spring ball. So I'm a little bit down on Alabama. I don't know that I'm like stock up majorly on Texas, but I think I could if I'm just now buying stock in Texas, you can get a return on your money. I think you're probably going to be in the green at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Um,
you're still
so
buying low right now for sure.
yeah. So anyway, you talk about their schedule being manageable. I mean, the Red River rivalry shootout, whatever we're calling it now, beginning of October. They have a bye week. Then it's at Houston. Very crucially, they have home against BYU, home against Kansas State. I mean, those could be two nightmare road games if it was reversed. At TCU, at Iowa State. Iowa State, I think, is going to be a bad program this year. And then they get to finish the year at home against Texas Tech.
Game that could be for a spot in Arlington.
Which legitimately could be. I mean, hey, if Joey Mack gets his way and the Big 12 runs through Lubbock, that would be a fun game to watch Thanksgiving weekend. But we'll have to see. That schedule doesn't scare me if they get past Alabama. And right now, Trey, if you just made me flip a coin and pick one of the two teams, I'm going to take Texas. They should have won last year at home, and that was with a massive – not a massive talent advantage on Alabama's side, but Alabama should have won that game by 2 scores, and they fiddle farted that game nearly into a loss. I don't think I don't even think they have the opportunity to do that this next year. I think the Longhorns come into Tuscaloosa and win by, right now, sitting here May 14th, I'm going to say they win by double digits. I'm going to say they win by 10.
Wow. Yeah, I'm pulling up right now. I'm trying to see if there's already an early line on that game, but not finding it easily. I don't disagree with you. I think that they're certainly capable of beating Alabama, and that would be definitely on brand for Texas in the last decade or so to get that big win early in the season. But again, even if they beat Alabama, that would be a huge sign of a step forward. But, you don't necessarily on name alone pencil in a loss the rest of the way. But last year, were you penciling in a loss to Tech or TCU or, they
TCU, yes,
struggle with Oklahoma State. Well, we weren't penciling in a loss to TCU in May of last year.
Oh,
right?
that's true.
Like we were not concerned about TCU. So even, the Iowa States of the world, we're not worried about them right now, but that was a 3-point game last year in Austin. So
they're a Xavier Hutchinson don't jump for no reason catch away from losing that game at home.
Yep, exactly. So even if they beat Alabama, beating Alabama in Tuscaloosa would undoubtedly be a signature win for Steve Sarkisian. It would undoubtedly show that he is moving in the right direction, but he would still need the rest of that season to prove to the fan base that it wasn't just a fluke.
Gracious him! How about that?